welcome back to Steam Family Outdoors. As always, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the like button if you like the content we had today. Today I'm going to go over some changes we're making to our fishing camera setups. So we talked about changes. Let's start with where we come from and kind of how we set up our cameras to begin with. First, I've been using the GoPro Hero 7s, two of them for the last few years. I'm using one. I'll start with my primary first-person view in the standard GoPro Hero 7 cage, and I'm mounting that on a mount on my hat. It just uses the tripod mount from GoPro along with a 1/4 by 20 screw. So why use the hat mount? Few reasons why I like using the hat mount for fishing. First, I think that getting that top-down view that the camera gives is great perspective. You really get good views of the fish at the water. That boat side action is awesome. A reason I don't like the chest mount is your hands totally get in the way. Every time I've tried to use a chest mount, my videos just turn into a mush of hands, and it's really not great perspective. Things the chest mount does well that I'll concede is that it really gives a consistent, stable point of view. You don't get that nauseous head turn side to side that can happen at times. And you can power a chest mount really easily by putting a power bank in a pocket and running it up to the chest mount. It all stays really tight there. It's tough to power a GoPro mounted on a hat. I have tried rigging up some things with power banks, but you end up having wires running down your back and all over the place. It's just kind of a mess. So I do change batteries. I keep about 6 batteries on me at all times. I have a power bank charging those batteries. I have no issue with it. It doesn't really bother me, and have kind of become accustomed to changing out the batteries with the GoPro. Another reason though that I like the head mount is when I catch a fish. If I'm wearing the hat and I catch a fish, I will hand the hat mount over to a fishing partner and put a different hat on, and then they can actually use it like a selfie stick and record myself doing post-catch interviews, or I can do the same for them and pivot the camera from being on my head to being a more of a mobile camera view. Really easy. So when I'm editing video, I can really just rely on this camera and I can pivot how I use it. And I also avoid having pictures of myself with like a big chest mount on or camera on my hat. I just take the hat off, put my normal hat on. Someone else takes pictures from that point, or they use the hat mount to get film of post-fish catch interview type stuff. So that's my primary camera, is the hat mount. Love the hat mount. The next one I use, another GoPro Hero 7. This is in a DigiPower cage. So the DigiPower cage does keep it waterproof, which is awesome. It also provides power and charging to the cage. So the camera sits in the cage, has the battery pack, turn the battery pack on. I can run about 6 hours roughly on the Hero 7 when I'm filming 1080p, 30 frames per second. I just want to get good secondary footage. And the secondary footage helps if I do some turning side to side with the hat mount. The secondary footage, I can switch over to that camera view, and it still gives me just like an overall great video of the fish. I can just kind of edit out those spots where you do move side to side. So I've grown to really like this mount. I use it on a mount I designed myself. Just uses PVC, some ram ball adapters for PVC, and then this is just the ram ball to 1/4 screw. It connects to a ram ball mount that's on a Scotty rod holder on a fishfindermounts.com clamp that clamps onto any boat. So I can clamp it onto a boat, run the PVC with ram. It's portable, it's sturdy. I use a 2-foot section of PVC. I'll link a video below where I've actually gone over how I make that camera mount too. Been really happy with the 2 camera views. I think it's really upped the quality of video. So that's where I'm at today. Going forward, things I'm keeping the camera mount on the hat, but we're changing up the primary camera. That's going to be the main thing that gets changed up, and I'm going to be adding some filters with the secondary camera. So I'll start with the secondary camera because I'm still keeping this Hero 7s, but what I got, these are Telesin CPL filters. So what I started to notice on my videos is that I had quite a bit of glare that would come on those videos. So what this lets me do is put a filter over the lens, and now I've added a polarizing filter to the camera to knock some of that reflection off the camera, just give me a little better view. If that was my only concern, I could use the same filter on the Hero 7 I put on my hat and run it that way. I did buy 2 of them in case I do decide to have a need to put one on the hat, or even just if there's another person in my boat and they'd like to run a hat mount. I do want to keep that one set up. But my thing I'm most excited about is changing up my primary camera. And this is going to solve 2 problems. So I have the polarizing one. This is an Ulzani cage on a GoPro Hero 9. It's the Ulzani G9-4. And that has a ability to add a 52mm adapter, so this is a polarizing lens. So if I want to, I can clip the polarizing lens onto that Ulzani cage and have that view. I'm going to experiment with that. I'm also going to be trying to use a Polar Pro, has a removable filter, or a lens replacement filter. So instead of having the 52mm adapter, which is kind of heavy too, that lens from B&W filter is pretty hefty. I'm just going to try changing out the lens itself for the Polar Pro. So I want to keep that filtering on the camera, and I'm going to show a quick little video clip you can see in this one that I'm showing now. There's quite a bit of glare on the water, and that's the stuff I want to knock off. Like, I want to get rid of that glare. The other thing is sound quality, and this is probably the most common refrain that you'll hear from people on fishing YouTube setups, is you have to focus on your audio. And I haven't, because I think the audio is maybe the most challenging thing to integrate well into a setup. I don't want to run a separate audio recorder. I know there's some who do that. They run an audio recorder, and then they'll have to go through that editing process with a third source of audio to overlay with your 2 camera views. It's just like one more thing to edit, one more thing to kind of track through. And I'm trying to keep things simple enough that while I'm on fishing trips, I can do some base level editing in camp instead of spending hours and hours. And I'm worried that having a third input will really complicate it. So within the Ulzani cage, I'm running the Hero 9. I'm going to run the filter. I'm also, you can tell, I'm running the sound, it's the mic adapter. It's not the media mod. So the reason I'm not running the media mod and I'm running the Ulzani cage is you can't change the battery in the media mod. Like, it's impossible. You have to completely disconnect the camera from the GoPro mount. And the reason is in the Hero 8s and forward, you don't have a cage anymore. The feet are integrated into the camera itself. So you actually have to remove the camera, fold the feet in, take it out of the media mod, change the battery, put it back in the media mod, unfold the feet, then actually go through the process of screwing the mount back on. And then if I want to adjust the pitch and make things all right, I'm doing that every time I change the battery. So every hour and 15 minutes. That sounds exhausting. So what the Ulzani cage lets you do is I can unplug the media mod, or not the media mod, the mic adapter, sorry. And I can open the door, reach in, grab the battery, put a new battery in, close the door, reconnect the mic adapter, power on the camera, and I'm back going. So I don't have to disconnect the shoe, or not the shoe, but the GoPro mount from my head mount. What I'm using for audio, and I'll be doing some more experimenting with my settings and editing with this, is the Rode Wireless Go 2. So the Rode Wireless Go 2 has the transmitter that mounts on the cold shoe of the media mod. So this will be the setup I'll run on the hat mount. It's about 3 ounces heavier. The GoPro Hero 7 with the cage weighs in about 5 ounces. This setup as is weighs in at just over 7 ounces. When you put this big old lens on it, it goes up to 10 ounces. So this lens is really heavy, and that's one of the reasons I'm going to try the Polar Pro lens out, just trying to keep the weight down as much as I can on the hat mount. So I'll be running the Wireless Go 2 up here, and then the Wireless Go 2 comes with 2 transmitters that tie into the same audio source. So a lot of times I'm fishing with another person in the boat, whether that's a friend when I go up, especially when I go on my larger Canada trips. There's always someone else in the boat, might be a friend, or it's Ashley, my wife, fishing with us. So this lets us have 2 different people going into the same camera source, so we get both audio captured when we have fun moments, when we're chatting in the boat. We get to capture both streams of audio, and I'll be using lavalier mics is what I'm going to be testing out too. This is the lavalier mic, the Lavalier Go from Rode, that's designed specifically to go with the Rode wireless Go 2. So I'll just plug the mic in, the lavalier mic, and now we're set up. And this should run for about 7 hours of battery time is what they advertise. I'll be getting a charging case, so if I do need to charge at lunch or during a break, we can get the 3 components charged. I'm really excited about this because this is the audio portion where I can get 2 quality streams of audio. So when Ashley and I are talking, we can have both streams of audio captured. I can edit them separately. So if one of us says something that we want to edit out, we can edit one stream of audio out but still keep the other going. And it still also meets one of my key requirements for how I set up my filming, which is I like to use my hat camera as also kind of the primary camera for filming. So if I take this hat off, I'm still recording, and then the sound's getting captured off either Ashley or my own lavalier mics that we wear. So I think I made some good changes and setups. We're hopefully going to get out yet this fall and experiment. I especially want to experiment with the wireless Go 2, check out the sound, check out our settings while we're not on a trip, maybe while we're just doing some farm pond fishing or some fishing around the metro area at various places, to make sure that our settings are set up right and that we just can capture some really good audio and hopefully bring you better fishing content while we're at it. So those are the big updates as far as camera setups go. I'm going to be using the same mounts though. I love the mounting systems that we have, and we're going to keep trying to bring the best fishing footage possible. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below if we're missing something or if you have a great idea on how to capture audio. Always excited to hear what other people are doing to get the best fishing content possible. And until next time, get out there and enjoy the outdoors.